Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Jack's Corner. In this episode, we're actually not doing it together. Over the weekend, Jack went to an assembly in New Jersey, and while we tried to do a live on location episode, it just didn't really work out. So we got on Zoom and we had him just talk about what the assembly was and what's going on. It wasn't super long, only about 8 minutes. Also, the internet connection he had wasn't perfect, so there are a couple moments where he gets cut out. But I didn't think it was too much for everybody to handle, and I didn't want you to go a week without an episode. So, without further ado, here is Jack Vigil at the assembly.
Good morning. I'm here at the assembly for the 300 clergy and lay people that have gathered in Hillsborough, New Jersey. We've had our sessions and our meals, and then we've been having a few prayer services in church. The agenda had a day and a half of strictly clergy presentations, and then yesterday afternoon, the laity started to arrive. We had some sessions, and now we're continuing on with now are going to be repeated for the lay people. Yesterday, Father Ed Cimbala and Father Yuri Oros welcomed us. They're the chairpersons that organized the whole meeting. Then our first speaker was Dr. Timothy Kearns, who talked about cosmology and the Byzantine Church. We then had Phil Yeviks, a retired catechist and educator who ran the Office of Religious Education for the Diocese of Passaic, and he spoke to us about the importance, of course, of education and catechus. Then we had a special guest, Bishop Neil Lushak, the auxiliary bishop and acting bishop of the Diocese of Mukachevo in Ukraine. He lives in Uzhhorod, and he's here in the U.S. for a couple of weeks, attending various events such as this, the consecration of Bishop Robert Pipton next week, and so forth. And he gave a very, very inspiring and impressive briefing to us about the situation in Ukraine. He told us that it was providential that we have the Carpathian Mountains separating us from the rest of Ukraine, and that the bombs can't get through the mountains. War and implications of that, but they have refugees, thousands and thousands of refugees that are pouring in from the rest of the country. Soldiers are bringing their families to live in Transcarpathia and then going back to the front. Soldiers from Transcarpathia are being wounded and killed, and so every week the bishop has a couple of funerals that he oversees. Then he told us how the refugees are just overwhelming the infrastructure that they have. There are some 300,000 residents of Transcarpathia, and they have double that many, another 600,000 refugees. So it's quite a crisis, and he thanked us all for our contributions and the financial support that we've been providing. Then in the evening, the first day, we had dinner and a discussion amongst the priests about what's good and what's bad and what we need to do in the future. Then in the evening, we had Father Paul West. Sorry, he came Friday morning, was the first discussion on Friday morning. And then the laity started to arrive. Yesterday, Dr. Paul Mogachi, who's a historian that's been writing about the Carpatho-Russian people, many books, many essays and articles. He was here himself. Then we had Father Chris Zuger, a church historian who's written a book, Finding Hidden Church, and has just published a very large 2-volume book on the history of the Byzantine Church from Cyril Methodius up until today, covering the entire world. So It's 2 volumes, quite large books. In the afternoon, further discussion. Father Thomas Loya from Light of the East Radio was a presenter, and he talked about his vision for how to resurrect our church and some of the ideas that have come out of the Midwest and the Chicago area. Following him, we had Adam Kebner, a layperson from Iowa, who is the force behind a very active mission. They meet 3 to 4 times a week for prayer and use the Book of Hours by themselves, and they only see a priest and have liturgy once a month. It's quite amazing. And he's got 20 to 25 active, enthusiastic persons who are building up a parish in the middle of Iowa. Father Andrew Summerson, who's got a doctorate from Rome, then talked to us in the afternoon, the last session, about his vision of the future and what we need to do to try to improve on what we have. And finally, over dinner, we were blessed by the presence of Cardinal Timothy Dolan from New York, who came and was at dinner with us, and then just gave a few remarks in the after dinner. And of course, Cardinal Dolan is a very pleasant, joking fellow, and so he had lots of nice little stories, and he was very entertaining in his typical after dinner speech. But he talked about a little bit about our church, and he praised us for the work we've done. Today is the second full day, so we have presentations coming from Father Ed Cimbala, Father Thomas Schubeck, and Brother Simeon, and then in the afternoon, Deacon Jeffrey Mazursky, Lynn Wardock, and Dorothy Meyernick. Then we'll have Vespers, and it's going to be interesting. They have a gala dinner with dancing with a little ethnic music group called Patashi. So it'll be a fun evening tonight. Then the entire thing wraps up with the Divine Liturgy tomorrow morning with Archbishop William, and then a final presentation and breakfast buffet. So it's quite a full schedule. I'm here with the book display. God With Us Books is here, along with Seminary Press, and Tabitha of Joppa, vestment maker, was here yesterday. Looks like she was just here for one day. Her tables are empty today. So anyway, it's exciting to see 300 people, a lot of whom are my friends that I haven't seen in years and years before COVID. So it's been quite an exciting couple of days so far, and more to come today. So I see customers waiting to buy books, and so I'm going to have to cut this short. It's been good seeing you, and hello to all my friends on Jack's Corner podcast. Next week, we'll have some more exciting events going on in the Byzantine Catholic Church.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Jack's Corner, as brief as it may be. And please come back next week, for just in a couple days, Jack will be coming here to the heart of the Eparchy of Parma for the installation of Father Robert Pipta as the next bishop. So, thank you for coming and listening to this episode of Jack's Corner. God bless and have a great day.